Now that's a good shot. Windsor and Crow are keeping the Canadas off Andy's field.
That's what happens when they know when Andy Crow's about.
Pheasant fancier, we hear the language of love. Plus, curb crawler, we observe how Roy Lupton picks up birds in his motor. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Geese have big feet, great for swimming, not so good for tiptoeing across crops and lawns, so when 200 Canadas start dropping into Crow's space, he needs them gone.
Every year they come in. What they do is they just come in, they shovel away at the banks of the pond all the way around. They come out onto the lawn and make a hell of a mess out on the lawn. Sometimes they come in the evening, sometimes in the morning. Pushed them off last night, get them away. So hopefully there's nothing on there this morning, so hopefully they're going to come back this morning, but it's just a gamble, but they do a lot of damage here.
To help him out this morning he has the man he now calls Mark Winger Windsor. Slightly unfair, but he's the only person he could find at short notice.
He's got a thing about crows, not me. He ain't got a thing about me, but no, he's got a thing about shooting crows. So he comes down at every opportunity he's got, he comes down as a bang up on the crow, so he's been shooting those the last few weekends, so he's down here this weekend, and as soon as I mentioned shooting something a bit bigger and there's a chance that he can hit it, he thought he'd take a chance. So.
Even though we are a good few miles from the sea, shooting wildfowl in England and Wales means using non-toxic shot. Andy and Mark are using steel today, so Crow has had his new Italian over and under multi-choked with special Briley chokes to take the steel. Game Ball's mammoth heavy load.
Yeah, steel's all right out to about 55 metres, I find it, so maximum.
Can you see that far?
I can't see that far. I can't hit stuff that far anyway.
Yards a long way. Yeah. You're 36.
Yeah, 36 threes.
36 gram threes,
Yeah. A lot of shot in there.
Will be, yeah. Need all the help we can get, mate.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Crow sets up two hides in the darkness, one for Mark and the other for him and Les, bringing it to 3 guns. To help lure them in, he's been sent some Silocox Canadas from UK Shoot Warehouse. Crow really likes the way they move and the fact they make light work. You can carry a whole gaggle's worth at a time.
Wind goes in there, you face them into the wind. Wind goes in there and keeps them up like that. They rot. They do look quite effective as it goes. The pigeon ones, they work well, and the crow ones look well. Especially when it's windy, they work bloody well.
I enjoy ducks, ducks and geese. It's a different style of shooting than what we're used to, pigeons and crows, it's usually fast and furious sort of stuff. This is more of a stealthy, don't get seen, get them in as close as possible, especially Andy, he needs them as close as possible. Dropped in quite early for us there, obviously we've got to be careful where we shoot, that's all the safe direction there. Really we wanted them a little bit higher, so after I've shot they went up straight out and straight forward over Andy, but they didn't, they kind of just turned around and went back, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully we'll get some more skeins coming and it should be a little bit different.
The second skein is only a few minutes later while Crow and Ruby are collecting the birds. Again Mark shoots 2 for 2 and Les gets a good shot across the field. With so many birds about, this is not one for the pot, although these will all be eaten. It's a pest control job.
That's all it is, it's just pest control. Don't even look at the mess they're doing on the lawn. They're just a pain in the neck, they really are. But, yeah, well, we're shooting now, and hopefully they'll come back again this evening and shoot a few more. But just want them off, the governor's going mad about it. But I'll get back to the idea, some more coming.
Oh yeah, here we go, lovely.
The birds have unfortunately arrived in big lumps, giving us less opportunity really to make a big impression. But the ones that do come on their own are dealt with in style. Mark delivering a textbook headshot.
Right, yeah. When they come into a lake, you know, when they're decoying, they've got a nice white illuminated side on their cheek, you see, so you can really see that. And if you focus hard on that point, it's always nice and ethical to kill something very quickly, rather than see it, you know, walk away. So you'd rather just shoot them straight for the front end in the head, and they just drop straight away. It's lights out. It's the best way to shoot them. Obviously, when they're up in the air, say 40, 50 yards up, you can see all the breast, and that's nice and white, so you can see that, but you don't get this on the low side shooting. So yeah, we've done well there. I reckon we got half a dozen, maybe 8 already. So we're doing all right, to be fair.
It looks like we've had the best fit when another straggler heads over. Mark again drops the goose with the game bore steel. Crow is happy that everyone has had some sport, and he's particularly chuffed with Ruby's performance.
Today she's just been flat out. She's been picking up. She jumped over 3 rails on a fence over there with a goose in its mouth. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, she's been marvellous. She has. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that.
As we tidy up, the daylight reveals Crow looking like a wildfowler in his new Jack Pike all-in-one. He's as snug as a bug in a rug, and about time. Apparently he's been asking them to make something like this for ages.
They've finally done it, and they've come up trumps with these. The problem is when you go out night shooting and sitting in a high seat, your jacket comes down to your middle, and your trousers come to the middle, and when you sit down, your jacket tends to ride up and you get a chill in the back. But these, it's right up the back. And as I would say, they are the dogs. They really are good. I'm impressed with them. I'm on fire. So, do they? You like them, do you, Mark?
As you can see, we've had a bit of a mishap today. A couple of the geese come round. We shot a few, and one of them obviously caught wind of the smell of Andy Crow, and it panicked massively. So, what you can see, it came straight back at us like a torpedo. Nearly killed you, David, didn't he? You ducked out at the right time and hit the bloody tree. That's what happens when they know when Andy Crow's about.
Altogether, we have 13 geese on the ground, and given a good number of birds a good reason not to come back.
Thank you, Andy, Mark and Les, and let's see what top game cook Kai at Bryn can come up with as a recipe for that lot, perhaps in a future episode. Now, from honking geese to stinking bishop, it's David with the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The recent flooding across the UK was not due to excessive rain, apparently, but grouse shooting. That's the conclusion of anti-grouse shooter and former RSPB activist Mark Avery, and he has the backing of the BBC, which broadcasted an interview with him. The BBC so far refuses to broadcast our claim that vegans cause earthquakes. For anyone that needs confirmation that most antis come from the towns, here they are facing off their greatest enemy, mud.
Oh, you're making a right mess on me beard, dear. Go on, go on, go on.
Thanks to Alex Weasel Edwards, who took this film of saboteurs in regulation black balaclavas, taking time off from terrorising the Mennell and South Staffordshire hunt by getting stuck on a roadside verge. A competition on the British Game Meat Facebook page gave a stalking outing as a prize, and the winner shot his first fallow buck. Organised by British Game Meat Peter Sangrove, Carl Bird shot a lone fallow knobber at 50 yards after a happy morning looking for the right animal. For the full story, go to britishgamemeat.co.uk. In international news, the Hubara bustard is back on the quarry list, but leopards are now off it. The bird is prized by hunters in the Middle East. Meanwhile, South Africa has banned the hunting of leopards because it failed to carry out research into leopard numbers. South African hunters warn that this is likely to lead to the animal becoming endangered, as it now carries no cash value for livestock farmers. The gun trade's SHOT Show in Las Vegas has been another success, with its second largest attendance. It attracted more than 64,000 industry professionals during a 4-day run. A record number of buyers also came, sending a strong signal about the health of the firearms industry. We sent Kai at Bryn along with the camera, but so far all we have is footage of him negotiating a fee with some smartly dressed ladies. He does, however, promise there will be a full report in Airheads this week.
We've only got like $6 for a quick video clip. Can we do that?
Here is how you carry out an animal release, American style. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, helped by local hunters, is among state wildlife organisations repopulating areas with bighorn sheep. They captured 26 bighorn and 7 Rocky Mountain sheep from one area and moved them to another. Trapping bighorns is a dramatic operation requiring firing nets from specially designed guns from a moving helicopter. And finally, shooting in Britain gets royal support, apparently. A fellow gun revealed that the Duchess of Cambridge celebrated her 34th birthday on the 9th of January 2016 by going shooting at her and Prince William's Norfolk home, Anmer Hall. The story was reported by Australian magazine Woman's Day. Pheasant shooting is the sport of the young royal women. Here is Sophie, Countess of Wessex, out shooting. You are now to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Coming up, Roy Lupton is lamping rabbits with a Goss and foxing with a drone pro. First, it's Hallo Charlie.
Hi Charlie, Kai here from Fieldsports Channel.
I'm Rob from West Fox Schools.
Having a terrible time here in Las Vegas.
It is tough, isn't it?
It's tough, so yeah, hope you're good. See you soon.
Hello Charlie, John in Ireland here. This guy came and took a Drake Wednesday evening. He came back last night, so that's the end of that.
Hi Charlie, it's Steve from Kent. I'm over in Essex today, helping the farm around on a couple of rape fields, but I think it could be time to go home. The wind is so strong it's blowing my decoys over.
That's it. Please send me your Hallo Charlies via Facebook, YouTube, Dropbox or email charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you for those. Please keep them coming, even Kai, if you have to pay for them. Next up, I am on a pheasant foray.
Regular viewers of our programme will not have failed to notice that the British are very fond of pheasants, so much so that we even have an international charity called the World Pheasant Association dedicated to saving the rare ones. So listen up, class, it's good for you. Here is the WPA's John Corder talking about the Malaysian peacock pheasant.
They are very endangered and they're only found in a small number of natural reserve areas. They are deep forest birds, they only lay one egg at a time, so very difficult to propagate, and the Malaysian Wildlife Department had found it quite difficult to establish a breeding program to support them in the wild. So we have the birds here on breeding loan and then we send young birds back to them when required. We've been very fortunate that we had a pair of birds that came here 25 years ago and they're still alive and still breeding. They of course only raise maybe one bird a year, but we've raised 19 from that pair and sent a few back to Malaysia. The rainforest in Malaysia is shrinking at a very rapid rate and they're a species that's under considerable threat. They've totally disappeared from Thailand, where they also came from, and I suspect that without support they're not going to last very long.
For more about the work of the WPA, go to pheasant.org.uk.
Every day is a school day. Now, Roy doesn't like to come home empty-handed, so he's out with a rifle and a goshawk.
Roy does like a well-mannered eagle or falcon because they have sharp bits and they're designed to puncture and hold on to fleshy bits.
You're not going to make me look slim at that angle, are you?
But with training, they do stuff like this. Goshawks are incredibly agile, but returning straight back into the truck means it can be a very efficient evening's hunting. His feathered missile of choice is a young female goshawk who's been doing well on the game birds and has now progressed onto nighttime bunnies.
Before we go foxing, I just want to take the goshawk out and see if we can find a few rabbits. Come on then, darling. Well, you won't find rabbits if you make that sort of noise, will you? This is a young female goshawk that I bred this season, and we've been having a bit of sport with her in between flying the eagles. what we'll do first is we'll go out, scan the fields, see if we can catch a couple of rabbits, get some nice flights, and then we'll box her back up, get the rifle out and start on the foxes. It should be a bit of a double bag night again, hopefully.
The goshawk was known as the cook's bird, and with good reason. Roy has flown this little goss on all sorts of quarry, including geese. We start spotting rabbits, but Roy has to be selective when he releases her. There's no point if there's fencing or the bunny is too close to cover. We get some very near misses and some challenging flights. Then she gets one.
Here you go. We'll just dispatch that. We'll give her a little bit of time, have a bit of a pluck, let her relax, and then trade her up. Hey, darling. Come on. There you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. On the brambles. See where you're going. Oh, there you go.
On one return to the truck, she opts for the camera over the glove, with Roy suggesting David screamed on impact.
David just scored like a little girl. Yes, did you catch David? Well done. He's not that hard to catch, he's a bit slow these days.
He maintains he was unruffled. Anyway, Roy spots a little owl and offers a word of caution.
We just shone the lamp there and got some nice eye shine, and for a moment it looked like it could have been a rabbit, but we had another look at it and it was a little owl sitting there. So again, you need to make sure you've got quarry identification down.
This is a very exciting sport with all the oohs and ahs of a gullmouth scramble.
Yeah. Rabbits for a goshawk are not a particularly difficult quarry, especially in the daytime. You can get some, you do get fabulous sport out of them, but they do take them very, very well. Again, at night, if they're a little bit close, then they do take them quite easily, but you can get some superb sport if you engineer it properly. A couple of times we had the rabbits pushed up from us out of a seat, so they're running well, so you can get a really decent flight then.
After a dozen or so flights, Roy calls it a night and brings out the 22-250. It's a crucial time to get onto the foxes. The call pays off and he gets a response from the thick cover at the bottom of the field.
I'm pleased we've got that one because, again, every fox counts at the moment because we are rapidly approaching lambing time. So they will be lambing down in these fields, and also we've obviously got the fallow going to be dropping their fawns here as well. So it is important to make sure that we take the cream off the top of the foxes anyway and give them a bit of a chance. Relatively young fox, I'd say, from the size. Vixen. Yeah, excellent. Superb. It's just what we want to be taking. Try and get on top of the vixens. This pretty little girl.
The cloud disappears and our shadows appear, and foxing is suddenly going to be a lot tougher. Especially when Roy, having successfully dodged some of the wetter ground, ends up axle deep.
Don't normally get to see the roof of my truck. Quite interesting. Unfortunately, we have a slight delay in our next fox arriving because the nut behind the wheel has decided to go over a little bit of a boggy patch, and although I've got some nice new semi-chunky tyres on my truck, it has decided to sink on us. So we are now well and truly stuck. So in best Penelope pit stop style, it's hi-yo.
Nobody likes to see a stranded Lupton, least of all David, who had to drive him home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, from mud wrestling in Sussex to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Viewer Dragon of the East Blue, that's his YouTube handle, gets in touch from Canada to tell me about one of his favourite hunting shows, Canada in the Rough. It has just released a film by presenter Keith Beasley answering the age-old question, why we hunt. It's not the be-all end-all answer, but it's close. Joe Vargan is after ptarmigan in the mountains of Norway with good quality English captions, which helps. This is a selection of moments from the not-so-memorable 2015 season. Here's a great idea for a day out, mainly available if you live in New Zealand. NZ Wild Things is in the Marlborough Sounds to pick scallops and hunt a decent tusky boar with dogs. A lot of YouTube channels were on the money at this year's SHOT Show. Iraq veteran 8888 Kentucky Gun Co. Plenty more. There are two that caught my eye. First up is the mighty NRA itself, here introducing the new Camilla Vanguard rifle from Weatherby, designed for women by women. In the world of knives, Knife HQ has a wealth of reviews of new launches from most of the knife companies that are big in the US. This film shows the lineup from Benchmade, which will mean a lot if you are up in knives. Viewer Stuart Blair enjoyed a good beater's day at his shoot with pheasant and duck drives. He says, and a special thank you to Stevie Malice, Billy McPherson and Shane the Keeper for a great day. The Four Ashes is back in action at Powis Castle, and he has his 7-year-old son loading for him and asking him searching questions too, which makes this film a good guide to what a shoot day is all about, and not just for 7-year-olds. And finally, in Arkansas, crows provide a migratory bird hunting season, rather like duck do. From the 1st of September to the end of February, there is no daily limit and you can use electronic calls. The state recognises them as pests, both for farmers and because they prey on the nests of songbirds. Now there's an enlightened idea. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
If you don't like those, how about this? Last week on Airheads, our airgun show, Roy was shooting marshland bunnies and we heralded the return of the suburban airgun sniper James Marchington with his Bird's Table of Doom. Click on the link on the screen for more. That's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, or even pop your email address into our constant contact box, and we'll constantly contact you about our show. It's out UK time every Wednesday, 7 PM. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.